As we research passages that may inform us about what it is like for those who pass away and go to be with God, we find some comfort in Jesus' promises to his followers. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Wednesday. We can read about terms like heaven or even everlasting life and not have a clear picture of what this is really like for the loved ones who leave this world prepared to meet God. I think a lot of Christian terminology is sort of ambiguous, that the normal person really can't understand it. And at a time when we lose a loved one, it's especially important to have some more knowledge in order to comfort our hearts and console the family in their loss. Well, Jesus saw the worry and the anguish on the faces of his disciples when he was preparing to go to the cross to die for their sins, or preparing to leave that borrowed tomb, even preparing to go back to heaven to be with the Father. So at the commemoration of the Passover, which we call the Last Supper, Jesus spoke right into the fears and worries of these, his closest followers. He said in John 14:1, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." There's perhaps no more troubling time in life than when we have to say goodbye to a loved one, to suffer that personal loss and anguish. So Jesus spoke to comfort us by reminding us that we must continue to trust in God for such a time as this in life. He explained the picture of heaven by saying, "In my Father's house are many mansions." I realize there are many translations that prefer to say many rooms and not really mansions, but can you imagine what a room is like in God's house for his chosen people? We will certainly not suffer that sign that says no vacancy when we get to heaven. Jesus also told his followers that he was going to prepare a place for them. Now, anytime someone goes to the trouble to prepare a place, whether it is cleaning a hotel room or preparing a guest room for company, they always put in the greatest of efforts. So when Jesus said he was going ahead to prepare a place for his followers, I cannot imagine what that is going to be like. He not only promises that prepared mansion or room for his followers, but he promises that he will come again to receive them. There may be no greater anticipation for the Christian than to realize that one day Jesus will split the eastern skies and he will arrive in all his glory, that which we call the second coming. And why is he coming back? He says, "To receive you unto myself." You see, our loved ones who leave this world will be ushered immediately into the presence of the Lord. There he will welcome them and also console them for what they have faced in this world. Although I believe when we arrive in heaven, we're not going to be lamenting over the trials and problems that we face down here. He tells those when he is returning for them, "Where I am, there you may be also." Wow. That should bring the greatest comfort to a grieving family to know that our loved one is no longer here, but they are in the presence of the Lord.